Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy.
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
And for today, we'll be discussing our favorite live-action Caped Crusaders. So, Shino, who's your favorite Batman?
Well, I guess I'll start this one off with the grandpappy of the modern Batman. My favorite is Michael Keaton's Batman, the 1989 Tim Burton version. This movie was almost not made to begin with. I think Warner Brothers, and I can't remember his name, I think Michael E. Uslan, one of the few people who tried to buy the rights away from, I think, the original 66 Batman TV show. He tried to pitch the idea around Hollywood, but no one would bite because they're all afraid of, 1966 Batman. So no one wanted to take the risk on it. He had to do a quick rewrite of the title, which was just Batman to Return of the Batman, to give a better idea of what he was trying to pitch. He was totally in love with, I believe, Dark Knight Returns and I want to say Killing Joke. And that's what motivated him to turn Batman to the dark version that we have now. A lot of guys went through the list, like the listing of directors. No one wanted to pick it up. They kind of landed on Tim Burton. He had just come off fresh from doing Beetlejuice,
which is a hell of a trip.
Yeah, that and
hell of a trip.
Yeah, Pee-wee. That and Pee-wee's the Pee-wee movie. I can't remember what it's called. I think
Pee-wee's Adventure. Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure, something like that.
Yeah, that's the one. He just came off those two movies, so they kind of gave him a chance on that because he's artistic, right? He has an idea of what he could do. He never read a comic book in his life, but I think his wife at the time, or girlfriend at the time, was kind of a fan, and she had The Killing Joke on hand, and he had read it, and he kind of fell in love with that style of storytelling, and so he jumped into getting it into that dark gothic kind of deco style feel. I think he or someone else actually decided to turn the costume into a full-on black costume, which was never done before. I think Bob Kane gave it the thumbs up for that matter too. When it came down to casting, though, this is where the movie almost fell apart. Grabbing Michael Keaton wasn't exactly the biggest name to draw people in. People were kind of scared when they heard Michael Keaton. He was doing more comedies than anything else, so to see him as a serious Batman was not in the picture. Harry Michael Keaton, everybody related it right to Adam West right away. From there,
that's all they had.
That's all they had, right? And at that point, I mean, he was the longest running. I think he still is the longest running Batman to be around. So he leaves a legacy. So a lot of people were kind of iffy on it. A lot of promotion kind of switched the tide, I would say. When they showed Jack Nicholson full Joker mode, they showed Michael Keaton in the bat suit, they showed the styling, what they had to offer, and the audience kind of swayed towards the movie. And then when it finally hit, it really took off. Big parts due to the look of it and the soundtrack, which almost didn't get made either. They couldn't decide on if they wanted to go with more of a orchestral feel or if they wanted to do a actual soundtrack. And that's why that movie has both. It has themes done by Danny Elfman, but a soundtrack done by Prince, featuring, and not many people know this, but featuring some stuff from Michael Jackson.
Prince is probably what sold it, for sure.
Prince was a big factor. That soundtrack, especially I think for some of the trailers, kind of, made a hit. It was kind of an impact on people. Again, there was no movie like it. So when that finally dropped and the first initial audience came out of that movie, it was a big thing. As soon as I think 2 weeks later, because I think it had a premiere in Hollywood, I think 2 weeks before it actually came out. I think the official day was on June 23rd of 89. I was a babby. I was 7 years old, 7 and a half, going to see this movie. Blew me away. And it, even though it's an old film, I kind of watched it not too long ago, and even though it's kind of old, it holds up, and you can even hold it if you wanted to, you can hold it as a timepiece for Batman. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, definitely. It's far beyond bat credit cards and bat shark repellent.
Yeah, very much. That's and again forever, and then right now to Batman and Robin. That's when the camp came back. But between Burton stuff of Batman and Batman Returns, for some reason a lot of people kind of dismiss Batman Returns, but I really love that movie for so many reasons. But that really captured the flow of what Batman would be known for now. That was the mold that everybody follows through for. That's that styling of Batman, that gritty, dark Bruce Wayne, that Batmobile, the Batcave. Everything literally starts from that movie going forward, right off to the animated series, pretty much ripping that theme song from Danny Elfman to use.
Totally. And I still feel like there's remnants being used today. It is by all accounts, the blueprint of every Batman we're about to talk about.
Oh yeah, very much. The movie helped ignite the animated, universe that we have. Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond. It all comes from this 1989 movie.
And I think we can all agree that even if this is a discussion of live action Batman, the Justice League Unlimited Batman is the definitive, on screen.
Oh yeah, very much.
If just for a quick aside, Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, that's it, game over.
Yeah, game over. That's the winner, right? Like any other voice actor afterwards, I don't like. It's like an okay substitute, but not the real thing, man.
Yeah, there's even like when Justice League versus the Future Five, or the new one with the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
They got Kevin Conroy, and that movie came out a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
They knew their audience.
Yeah, he always comes back for it. Like, he will always come back to do that voice. Anytime they give him the opportunity, he will come back for it. That's why the Arkham games worked really well, was because of his voice, right? They knew that's what fans wanted, him and Mark Hamill, and everybody came back for that. So, but yeah, this was the film, the Keaton film. I still say I think Keaton makes a great, even though he's I think still the shortest Batman on screen. He's still one of my favorites. He had the styling for it. No one thought he could pull off the gritty, dark, no emotion Batman. He did it. No one thought he could play the broken duality of Bruce Wayne, and he did it well for 2 movies. And I think he did it even better in Returns when having to confront Selina Kyle. So yeah, and that's my love of Batman.
And Michael Keaton gets to come back not only in reportedly in the Flash movie that may or may not come out in a couple years here.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller's Flash. But also Birdman is straight up just that.
Yeah, like that
how it weighs on him since then.
It's a testament to it. So a lot of actors don't want to be known for that one role, and yet he's always remembered for either 2 of them, right? You either have Batman or Beetlejuice. And I think Batman kind of outweighs the Beetlejuice nowadays.
And I'm sure when they cast him as the Vulture in Spider-Man, I'm sure that's what they banked on.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Keaton can act. He's got the chops, right?
Totally.
It was fun seeing him bad as Vulture, and he's totally believable because as he played Bruce, he always had that character teetering the line of good and bad, right? He was always very dark.
I think that's the other thing I wanted to mention was that Keaton's Batman also starts which one is actually the mask. Is it Bruce Wayne or is it Batman?
Man, that's correct. Yeah, the duality theme. That's correct. That's the one. Tim Burton really loved that. He grabbed that idea from, I believe, I want to say Dark Knight Returns. He grabbed that concept and he kind of rolled with it, because that was a major thing he wanted to get across. He kind of wanted to make sure that everybody forgot about Adam West. You can remember him, but it's never going to go back to that.
Sure, right. I will not forgive those trilogy of movies there where that Robin that is not Robin, and I refuse to believe it's Robin.
He's not named it. Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
But it's in the title, so I guess maybe.
Right.
But 0.
Yeah. No, not the same feel. Those 2 last movies, there is a lot to be said about them. Some actors saved the films, like Jim Carrey being one, but I don't know. Those weren't big hits for me. The first 2 will always be my favorites, amongst other ones that we're about to mention. And I'm going to slip that one off to Beastie.
Yes. So I guess my favorite choice to mention would be Christian Bale. So from the Christopher Nolan movies, of course, or the trilogy, I should say. But reason why, mostly because just compared to I guess besides Michael Keaton, the portrayal of his Bruce Wayne was what kind of appealed to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let alone Batman Begins, how he was brought up in you see kind of the, I guess, year 1 origins of him learning to become more of a better assassin, and then just becoming a vigilante. In The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger as the Joker, he kind of it feel he took it to another level and was kind of it was showing, how do I put it? It was like a Spider-Man 2 in that sense. It was another step, and he was basically hey, this is what I can do with this character, and I can bring it to a whole nother level and show you what I can really portray. And he did an amazing job showing hey,
talk about an iconic partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And especially too with Dark Knight Rises, I think that's where he shined the most, with as Batman and as Bruce Wayne, kind of with, as was mentioned before, the duality of serving both characters.
I'll go a little thing with that too, because in Batman Begins, to see him play Bruce on his rise to becoming Batman, and then in Dark Knight to see him have to deal with trying to get rid of it now, right? You've never really seen a Batman try to give up the mantle, and to see that plot was different. It was kind of a shakeup, and it's because Nolan wanted to kind of dose that in reality. This guy can't realistically, Batman can't do it forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like he's only human. He can't do it forever. So that
Your joints can't take it, bro.
Exactly, right. So what did the doctor say? Like all that extreme skiing, right? Like that. I like that the whole central plot of this is a guy who wanted to do a good job and then pass it on to someone else and send that message that anybody can be this good, right?
Yeah, exactly. With that too, like that's why I referenced Spider-Man 2, because it is in a sense that Mantle is just like, hey, you have kind of like this job to do, but obviously with the Dark Knight, it's more just like, as you said, like he's just a mortal being. He can't really do this for all his life. No. He's only gonna live for so long. And then obviously just the portrayal of like, the villainy in each movie was portrayed like really well as well too. Like the casting choices were phenomenal of each movie. But per se, that's why I kind of like it a lot more out of the Batmans, because like that one, I can in my head I can kind of reference a bit better, and I'll just relate to those characters or relate to the scenarios that were given.
Yeah,
especially with like just I think Batman Begins like with the casting of having Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow, and then what's his name? I forgot the other guy who was Ra's al Ghul.
Come on,
Liam Neeson.
No, because there was Liam Neeson and then there was someone else too, I believe.
So that and a lot of people confuse that. So no, so the whole idea was that he's using a fake name of Ducard, but he's Ra's al Ghul the entire time.
That's what it was. Yes. Because I know they both played him, but I just can't remember what order it was. But yeah, like essentially just seeing that, like with that Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, and just like being like, hey, you have a duty to fill, and you will become this. But it's just like, no, I'm pretty great and good. Let me do my thing.
Right, and getting murdered by Lady Shiva and then identity theft by Ra's al Ghul.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like the iconic casting, like you can't now unsee Michael Caine playing Alfred.
No, and he's probably still my favorite.
Yeah, right.
Totally. Absolutely.
Man, like just so good at it.
Right, you can't unsee Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
No, you can't.
No.
He did a really good job.
And that's the thing, like with the casting choice there, that's what made everything so good. Even with Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox through all three, like
see the casting idea of that's just to show you that like Bruce had a small family going on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
As where like the Tim Burton stuff was more isolated. It was Batman dealing with Batman and Bruce Wayne, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like possibly branching out and having a partner or having a love interest, but it never really expanded beyond that. As where this was a mortal man who has the drive, but he can't do it all, so he has to be codependent on other people. A butler, Lucius Fox, that's his quartermaster, man. That's his cute.
I believe it's Lucius that like when he's in the board meeting and Lucius has to like quantify all these expenditures from the Bane Foundation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Bruce and he goes, if you're gonna spend this amount of money, you need to tell me what you're spending it on. Like, I'll lie to them, but you need to tell me.
Me, exactly.
Yeah. Like, that was like his right-hand man. He's like, boy, you got tell me this. I'll do it for you, but my guy, let me know what you're doing.
Yeah, like, what's the deal?
Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble.
and that's the fun thing with that whole series, too, is that when he went to go talk to his Q-man, the conversations that they had were very discreet, but you knew what they were talking about because, they're talking in code. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was a fun part. Like, that whole trilogy, great trilogy, man. Third part, a little shaky.
Yeah, just a little bit, but
right?
it did its job.
A little shaky, a little dodgy. And some choices made were kind of like cancer throat Bale doing that gritty voice.
He'd be gargling marbles, bro.
Yeah, he hated that shit. Every last second of it. He didn't.
But also now iconic. Now you can't unhear Bane. Even in the Harley Quinn show, that's what Bane sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, no, they didn't.
DJ, did you see Lego Batman? They destroyed him in Lego Batman also. Same thing.
So they
roast the hell out of him though.
Oh yeah.
They did stick with the original like luchador like voice. Or I guess Mexican origin, sorry.
They went all Tom Hardy on it, man.
Every incarnation since he played Bane has always been,
oh yes, it's the Batman. Oh yes, I'm rising.
The Batman is here. You understand?
I'm going to break his motherfucking back. Yes. Bane doing his best Adam Sandler impressions.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh no.
What I super digged about those movies was just the fact that was one of those that played kind of like what Beastie was saying earlier about the different focus with Bruce here, was that Batman was less who he was and was more a symbol he was having to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because you've got this whole support group, it's like, okay, they're all supporting you so you can go do the thing because people need you to be doing the thing and visibly doing it.
Right.
Whereas like Keaton's stuff was focused on Bruce and Batman's duality and then his relationship thereof with villains.
Yes.
Whereas the Dark Knight trilogy kind of went, okay, we've got Batman and his personal problems. We've got him and his close personal problems. We've got him and his anti-personal problems. And we've got him with the entire society surrounding his actions.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So we actually got layers of context there.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is, with reason why I guess I love the trilogy so much is because like Christopher Nolan brought it so like to a humane level, such as like what Sam Raimi did with Spider-Man, the like Spider-Man trilogy, and both are just still relatable in that sense.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. But Nolan's a fucking, he's a storyteller, man. He likes to really dive into things. So with his Dark Knight trilogy, man, that was a real, like, people probably won't agree, but that was a real human piece, man. Like,
the writing is fantastic. Like when Christian Bale is stuck under the burning log of Wayne Manor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alfred looks at him and goes,
What's
the point of doing all those
push-ups
push-ups if you can't push yourself up from here?
Right.
I'm like, thank you. Alfred would do that. Alfred criticized him every step of the way and poke fun at him when he could.
And that theme comes back in Dark Knight Rises when you know, why do you fall to pick yourself back up again, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like
the perfect line of get back on that horse.
Exactly. That whole theme, the whole trilogy is really good. The swan song being Dark Knight, right? Like that's the one that really did it in.
That one will always be my favorite.
That's the one. That's the one that everybody will talk about. That's the one everyone will remember. Heath Ledger killed it. It was a different movie than anything you've ever seen. It was a crime movie.
The first one with the Joker card without knowing if you're going to get a sequel to even do the Joker in the first place.
And then
that's a power
getting it. Yeah, and then you know very well this is what you wanted, so you had something already written out. And that's why that movie translates really well on screen. That movie's beautifully done.
They all feel together. Like, it's not that they're, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, where you can see kind of bits and pieces that, yes, they're sequels, but they're not an overarching plot sort of thing.
Yeah.
But with the Dark Knight trilogy, like, they are continuous stories. Like, you pick up right after the other, it starts to be an actual cohesive unit.
Oh yeah.
Through all three movies. Like, it's very much having the last one come out at the same year as Iron Man does.
Yeah.
Really sets a precedent.
Yeah. It's been here. And fun note, each intro for each movie pretty much reflects on the title. So if Batman Begins, a bunch of bats will fly and it forms this bat symbol.
Yep.
Right? As where Dark Knight's more anarchy, so his symbol comes out of like raging fire.
Yeah.
And in Dark Knight Rises, the bat shatters, right? Broken, it's gone. So each one, speaks on the theme inside the movie. It's really well done stuff, man.
Yeah.
Love symbolism.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I like is because it's Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I sometimes forget that Batman Begins is the name of the first one because the other two start with Dark Knight. But when you watch them all as a piece, they're one unit.
Oh, they're one whole story.
Right?
That's
you could
a
wait.
marathon.
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah. Essentially, I usually sometimes just forget that Batman Begins exists, and I'm like, wait a second. There's a movie before this. There's a trilogy.
Oh.
But yeah, it's
But the other thing I
really
like is at the very end of Rises is that Nolan, being that mastermind that he is, throwing in his Inception level power thinking.
Yes.
Having Bruce go to what we are told is Paris, but where it's actually shot in Italy because funsies, and turning around and seeing Alfred. That's a beautiful thing. Not knowing if that's actually in someone's head or not.
Yeah.
That's a Nolan power move.
Yeah. That honestly, like when I saw that scene, I was like, wait, hold on.
Well,
what the fuck?
they did say that when the bat blew up, right? He said that the emergency hatch was broken, but like when they examined it, it worked. There's someone ejected.
Yeah.
Right, to give you the idea, like, oh, he got out, right? But he faked his death. But yeah, the symbolism behind it's still beautiful, right?
Yeah, of course. And I guess that brings it to table.
It sure does.
All right.
So I'm coming from a questionable position on this one because I'm going to make my case for Ben Affleck's Batman, or, the Batflek, because
Chonk Bat.
There were so many good ideas and interesting concepts and sort of cool things. And like, I cannot in good conscience recommend anyone see any of these movies. Okay. I can't do it. I just, no. But there are some absolutely great visuals and really fun little scenes. And Ben Affleck does a fantastic job of playing this particular Bruce Wayne, which the Bruce Wayne he plays isn't the traditional one. It isn't, young, getting into it, young, or at the prime of his life. This Batman is old. He's been doing this a long time. if I had to peg him on a comic timeline, I'd say he's weirdly somehow post-Jason, pre-Tim, so he's all kinds of jaded and a grumpy man.
Yeah, midlife and tired.
Exactly. He hates the fact that he's doing this, but he can't stop.
He lost to Robin already.
Yeah, well, and who knows what the other one did to him, right? The other one probably told him fuck off, right? In the most grittiest WB manner you can get, and now he's by himself.
And if he stops, then what was everything he's done before even 4? First of all, we get some absolutely fantastic Batman being stealthy and also actually
being Batman.
Because don't get me wrong, I completely understand logistically why it's very hard to represent Batman as he's seen in the comics on screen, because any bat costume you have is probably going to be a bitch and a half to move in.
Yep.
Like, they're all solid, they're all thick, they all have limited like field of vision. It's difficult and it kind of sucks to be in those.
Before we continue, the only person who had the advantage was Bale. His second costume actually had a mobile neck. He could turn his neck around. Every other bat costume other than Adam West, because I think his was just like velvet, right? So he can move around. But every other costume was just stiff neck, minus Bale's.
Didn't they also have to build a way for him, most of the actors, to build a way on how to pee, because one of the actors was like, this is the way I need it, and then he recommended to all the other future actors?
I believe so, because like that shit's hard to take off.
Yeah, their suits sucked.
Yeah.
Which means we don't get to see the super cool, like somewhat acrobatic, flexible, fluid, terrifying combat style that comic Batman is known for, because it's just not feasible to do.
Right.
But in this sweet era of sort of CGI, and also we're just going to make Batman punch people in the dark, but like really in the dark, they could get away with it. We got to see him climbing things really fast, not just grappling around. We got to see him like jumping off of things and drop kicking someone.
We got to see him jump out of the Batmobile.
We got to see him jump out of the Batmobile. It felt like Batman.
And everybody remembers the fucking warehouse scene in Batman versus Superman where he tears into those guys. It's like that's a masterpiece scene, man. I love watching that.
One of the very few reasons you have to see that movie at least once.
Oh, just look at
Wonder Woman.
Those people say Martha.
Yeah, just look on YouTube. Just spare yourself and just look at the clip somewhere. But like that whole fight scene is just that for me was like, oh, how come the movie couldn't be like this?
Ben Affleck feels like Bruce Wayne, and he feels like Batman on screen, and we get to see him not just like get his ass kicked. We get to see most Batmen get their ass kicked. It's a requisite of the position.
It's a character trait.
It is. We also get to see him just sore and tired. And we see this old guy putting in his time at the gym so he can stay in good enough shape to beat the shit out of criminals.
Yeah.
We see him putting in the groundwork to be Batman. But not even groundwork, the maintenance. What it takes to do this.
Yeah. That grind moment where he's getting ready to face
That's
Superman,
why he's so swole.
Yeah, that was something else too, man.
And even like in Justice League, when he takes a minute to go and like be in pain in a room by himself, that's fantastic. In theory, this is a great Batman. In theory, this is a fantastic representation, and I would really like to see more. I just really don't want it to be in any of those movies.
No, me too. On that note, because apparently Justice League is probably a whole different movie coming out now, right, on HBO Max.
Due to the Snyder Cut actually existing.
It really does exist, which I'm like, I have a bleeding nose for this, so I can't wait for this fucking thing to drop, because I, for one, really wanted this thing to be good, so I hope this is actually good.
Are you ready for a bombshell?
What?
There have been some small reports that Ryan Reynolds may make his appearance as Green Lantern as a cameo in the Snyder Cut.
I would die.
Shut up. You're not serious, are you?
Die.
Oh my God.
Right,
well,
please.
I hope this thing, does happen. I've been hoping this was real, and it's real. And I want more Affleck the way he was supposed to be in Justice League, the way he came off of Batman vs. Superman. I believe he was supposed to learn his lesson at the end of that movie and become something good in Justice League, but what we got in that movie was just not great.
Yeah, between BVS and Justice League, it's kind of hard to find a whole bunch of redeeming qualities for that.
Yeah, it's tough.
You can pull up some of the visuals. You can pull up the acting presentation and like how he worked with what, the character is going to have to do because the plot says so.
Yeah.
You can pull up the fact that this is a Batman we don't get to see very often. It both does he's alone because he is a pillar of justice and can't have any friends, but also that sort of the fact that sucks as a way to do things and it hurts and this is really not effective and he should probably change that.
You can't work alone, man. Not forever.
Yeah, we're usually any film that focuses on Batman as an alone guy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's just how he is. It's how he does his job. It's important for him to be like that.
But what if something's bigger?
No, we know that's not right. We know that's not what he needs to be doing.
Yeah.
And these films don't shy away from that.
No.
And they do punish him for being a prick.
Yeah. They do. But the hunt for the League, right? When he's trying to form it together, having him play off of like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and like Ezra Miller, use a more jovial Bruce Wayne, which is kind of weird, right?
Yeah, the scenes I have seen of Ezra Miller's Flash interacting with Ben Affleck's Batman are exactly the way I would imagine like a young hero who's just sort of developed these powers and a like
grizzled veteran,
world weary
old man like trying to just show him like life sucks, and this jovial going, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Does it have to?
Does it have to? I run real fast. It doesn't have to.
And he's saying like he's got to form a team up. This is something unusual for him. And immediately Flash is like, I'm in.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be sold. He's like, yeah, there's Hero. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do some work, right? And it was great to see. And again, like you brought it up, like that whole plucky new hero versus that beaten war vet, man, tired guy, and that reflection of like that war vet still being really kind of happy a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, Affleck does this thing where like he plays Bruce Wayne as, because normally when you get the distinction of Brucey Wayne the persona and Batman the guy, and then there's somewhere in there is Bruce Wayne the dude, and like he's the one we're allegedly supposed to care about.
Yeah.
We never really see Brucey Wayne the persona. We just see all of those aspects as things Bruce Wayne sometimes does and says to fuck with people.
Yeah. Right.
And that was super cool as well. That idea that it's not so stiff. It's not so, wow, Bruce Wayne is completely alive. Like, no, that's who he is. He just sometimes is like that.
Yeah.
Right. It
characters.
starts to bleed the mask on which one is like the mask. Is it Batman that Bruce Wayne puts on? Or is Bruce Wayne what Batman puts on?
That's right. I believe that's the central theme in all of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, ever since Keaton.
Loved how it did this one. But no, you're right. Like, Keaton's was hard and fast, I almost want to say.
That movie happens in a flash, right? Like, things come and go.
That Batmobile, that Art Deco style of it, just to switch back to Keaton for a small bit, that Art Deco, like, shark fin, I'm like, as looking at pictures of that, holy moly. Like, that's a piece, you know?
Fun note on that car is a real build, and it can't take corners.
Of course it can't.
It can't take corners. In the actual movie, they actually had to use a harpoon line to swing it around.
That's so funny.
Yeah, if you have Batmobile street legal, they will probably tell you to take it off the road because it's really dangerous to drive. You can't turn properly.
That's so good.
You just can't turn.
Yeah, you can't turn.
But no, my final thoughts on Batflek is this could have been great. There's a lot of really fascinating pieces in there that I would really have enjoyed seeing played out more in depth and just better. But alas, those crimes are probably best left to just
but
go on a
he might
somewhere.
get pardoned for these crimes because Justice League the Snyder Cut might come out, and it might be really, really good in this 6-hour mini format that it might come out in.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot of mights and a lot of hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But that's, as of recording, that's all we know.
I just want it to happen. That's all. Oh yeah, I forgot one other note too. That same '89 Batmobile has a special paint on it that you can't get, I think, anywhere else. And they forced the what's her name? I think Kim Basinger to get in and out of the car with her heels off because she would scratch it. So if you watch the movie and you see her hop in and out of the Batmobile, she has to take her shoes off first.
That's actually
completely understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you spend millions of dollars building this car just to have a $200 pair of shoes ruin them?
Yeah, right. And it's funny because they kept it on film, so they never really cut out her taking shoes off. It's on film, so you never really catch it until you find out the trivia, and you're like, oh my god! And you watch it, and you're like, wow, she really is taking her shoes off.
But I think that takes us to our final Batman of the issue.
It sure does. Now, I'm going to start this by saying my Batman never actually puts on the cape and cowl, which is arguably doesn't make him Batman, right? Some people, even in this host selection, would say that is in fact doesn't make him Batman because he never puts on the cape and cowl. But here's my argument. So the reason why I think this is Batman is because not only does he, like, we get shown the Bat computer, he throws batarangs, he talks to Dick Grayson, who, fun fact, is never actually called Richard. His name in the Titans TV show is actually Dick Grayson. which
They
is
make
just
two-
unfortunate.
And they make 2 jokes on it too.
And I would make many more, but
Yeah.
you know,
But that means we're safe from Rick.
Yes.
that it does. And I swear to God, I will punch you through this computer.
I deserve it.
You brought up Rick in more shows than we ever need him.
Oh, I mean, come on, he's a cab driver. I mean, what's wrong with that?
But he also talks about the old times when Dick was Robin. And he was
Mhm.
trying to show Dick like a better way to control the anger from watching Dick's parents die. So while we never see him actually put on the cape, the amount of like
Definitely.
text, the context put together, definitely at least makes him enough. And in season 1 of Titans, we have an inference that the man we see in season 2 is who's underneath the cape and cowl of the Batman that does actually show up. A Batman shows up in season 1.
Yes, even if it's like a horror dream.
Oh yeah, it's a horror dream caused by Raven, but that's okay.
Look, man, he's not in
Batman
costume,
belongs in a horror dream.
right? Like he's not in costume per se. I mean, yeah, I know that he's supposed to be veteran at this point. He is Batman. He still does his nightly routines, you know.
He's
but just
old.
the fact we never see him do it, right? And right, it tears away because, like, at the end of the day, you totally feel like he's not Batman. And I mean, he's great looking for a Bruce Wayne, like an older Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely. Ian Glenn does an amazing job of looking the part of Bruce Wayne. If I looked at Bruce Wayne and thought of it, of like how old he might be, Ian Glenn, perfect.
He reminds me a whole lot of Adam West, to be honest with you. The look of him, like it's like an Adam West, but in like an R-rated like version of himself.
Like just a maybe not even R-rated, more of just like a modern spin. So speaking of Adam West, this man not only like has a bubble-shaped Batmobile in the season 1 in the horror dream, he also does the iconic Batusi dance.
Yeah, Batusi.
And when I saw this on screen, I was watching it with my significant other. I had to pause the show my significant other where this comes from, and the reaction I got was, "That's nice, dear."
Aww.
Which is fine because they don't get it. But that's whatever.
Right.
That's totally
But it's more than nice. It's a reference.
Right? So it kind of makes him, because he has the bubble-shaped Batmobile, the logo for the Wayne Foundation kind of looks the upside-down version of the Robin logo from Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
He also, like, when Dick Grayson is a boy and takes his car out for a ride, the jet shoots out of there like in the Dark Knight trilogy. So it starts to feel like a big amalgamation of all of the Batman we've discussed so far. And when we initially see him in season 1, I promise you the back of his head looks like Ben Affleck.
Yeah, when you show a younger version of himself.
Yeah.
You showed us that pic and you got a point.
Right? So now he starts to feel like an amalgam. And I grew up with the Dark Knight trilogy as the one that I would watch, right?
Right.
And I have a lot of fond memories of people throwing the, one of the 3 movies at the time on screen, and just as we're testing video for just testing projectors.
Yeah.
And I can't unsee that as my Batman. However, if that's my Batman, this is my Bruce Wayne.
Okay, I hear you. I could totally agree to that too. There's some people who are just very definitive at a character, man. He's got that right appeal for Bruce Wayne.
When eventually Dick and Batman part ways and very estranged.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of season 2, Dick goes back to the mansion, sits Bruce down, and a boy and his old man talk about their feelings. Something that, while the Bat family is not known for doing,
we want them to do it so desperately, though.
Right? Seeing Dick Grayson look at this older gentleman and say that, yes, what you did while I was growing up was very much weaponizing my childhood, very much like putting me through the gauntlet. I understand why you did it. And it kind of spins the whole of like what Batman is on its head by showing us what he does to people.
See, it's
usually bad.
Table just brought up before, because like they, in comic format, they do have those conversations sometimes. It's not very often they do, but
there's often violence involved.
Yeah, when the conversations happen though, like the shit really does hit the fan for them, and it's one of the few times where Bruce has no words to say, because like here, this Bruce and Batman are the type of guy to believe that they're never wrong, right?
Totally.
So here it is when
he is wrong, he doubles down on it.
Exactly, right? Like when you confront him, it's almost like he tries to find a reason or excuse for his actions, right? But like at the end of the day, he was wrong. So it's, again, humanizing, and it's, what you brought up is completely correct, man.
The other thing that I need to mention is most of what we see of Ian Glenn as Batman is actually Dick Grayson's conscience.
Yeah.
This fuck saying Jiminy Cricket character, drinking whiskey, kicking his own ass just to prove to Dick Grayson in his own mind. Dick Grayson conjured up the thing that would kick him in the ass the most, and that was his dad. Watching like having this Jiminy Cricket like kick his ass in jail and force that next transformation of the Robin character.
Oh, and it's almost as if like when it went down, it's almost like you can really see the miscommunication as where he was really angry and kept away from Bruce, and Bruce pretty much said it was like, all you had to do was come fucking talk to me, man. That's all you needed to do, right?
All you had to do was talk to me, or all you had to do was just admit you're wrong and I will stop existing.
Exactly. That's all he had to do. It's very interesting.
Own up to your mistakes.
Yeah.
So not only does he own up to his mistakes, but he leaves the door open. When Dick goes back to the mansion, even though they parted ways apparently in a terrible way, Bruce lets him in like he's the prodigal son. And by all rights, he is, right?
I like your choice. You know, Titans, strong casting, man. I was really, really wary at first when they announced it, and finally watching it, I was just like, well, this is a really fucking good show, man. And casting wise, like everybody feels just about right. Like,
can I just say that I really adore the idea of focusing on Batman from Robin's perspective.
Oh yeah,
and that because Robin is, you know, like my favorite character in comics, no matter which take it is, mostly Nightwing. Watching Batman through Nightwing's eyes is a take I never thought I would get to experience. And now that I see like the physical training that Bruce goes through and his new psyche and Nightwing's new psyche after being Robin and turning into Nightwing, like that makes a three-dimensional character.
It's going to be very interesting to see how far the show progresses and if they will, eventually, spoiler warning for anybody who doesn't know about Jason's fate, kill off Jason Todd.
If they don't kill Jason, I'm actually going to be mad, just so we're clear.
Yeah, they're going to have to, right? Like, you're going to have to, unless you really want to deny Tim anything, because Jesus Christ, right? Like, don't.
Just kill Jason.
But I believe they will, and I want to see how that's going to go down, because, again, when Jason died, right, that whole scenario of Bruce getting even grittier, and having
to see it from Dick Grayson's perspective,
right? Because
because in comics he was in space when Jason died.
Yeah, he was gone.
But like, you can't take the Titans to space.
They sure can't. So
yeah, well,
what's he doing?
You know what? You can't say that. You sure can, because they deal with Starfire and her entire race, right? So and apparently they're on their way. So you never know. These Titans might end up in space. You never.
What if they go to space exclusively off screen and then come back?
Off panel adventure. Hey guys, that was fun. Oh, that was killer, wasn't it?
Thank God we saved the budget on that one.
The last thing I want to mention is Bruce Wayne is so integral in solving the plot of season 2. He literally sets up a Bat computer-esque thing in Dick Grayson's mind and shows him exactly what happened to Jericho. And I will leave that as something I won't spoiler in the show, so that way people have something to actually watch and follow through on what happened.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
But watching Batman set up a chair, force Dick to sit down and watch the actions that take place on why he did the thing means that Dick Grayson not only saw it, understood it, but purposely ignored it.
Yeah, he wanted to, forget about it.
He wanted to forget about it. He wanted to push it away.
Yeah.
He wanted to push his mistake away, and forcing Batman to breathe down his neck makes that another three-dimensional character.
And that's the thing, like, so far, because I never thought you would see a Batman on TV ever again.
Right.
It was almost like never a thing again, right? And having this version is refreshing. Even the one on Gotham too, like having the young Bruce Wayne grow up was a refreshing experience, because like
interesting take.
You never get it, right? You never get it on screen. You only get like a bit of it on like in the movies.
Right. You get 5 minutes, say this is boy, this is how boy gets
the tragedy, right? And then that's it, right? And that's about it. Also, Martha. So like you don't like, get much.
Gotham's take on it really justifies becoming Batman in a way that just having his parents die doesn't, because that poor boy's life is garbage.
It shows
everything sucks all the time. Of course he's gonna go be a vigilante. There's no other solution.
It shows his growth. And again, that's like Batman Begins was great for that, but you got him older, right? He wasn't a child. You didn't really see the burning desire to fight crime. He said it from 8 years old. He's always wanted to do it, right? Like you don't really see him grow into it, other than you see him already as an adult. So with Gotham, it was really great to see him grow into that and become that dark, moody child, because he was that when he was growing up. He was dark.
Oh, absolutely.
Angsty boy.
Right, exactly.
And the fun part about in Titans, to kick it back my way, was that we don't see that. We don't need that. We know who Batman is.
Yeah.
We don't care about his backstory, like the same way we don't need to see Uncle Ben die every time.
Well, and that's right. And the thing with the Titans version, with Ian Glenn's version, is that he's seasoned, he's established. And you know what? With this version, we don't even have to see we don't have to see him in a suit because it's not his show, right?
Right. It is Titans. It's not Batman and the Titans, but because Batman plays such an integral role in like, Titans Tower, and the funding and how they do things, it makes it much more interesting than just Nightwing invested in Haley Circus and then sold it and then got a bunch of money.
Right. Yeah.
Significantly much more interesting and involves what is essentially his parent.
Yeah. The Titans version. Again. Yeah, the Titans version, like that Bruce Wayne, his inclusion, man, that whole build-up in season 2 was really great because like you got to see just the sassy Bruce Wayne. It wasn't the Affleck version. It wasn't like it wasn't Kilmer's version. It wasn't exactly Keaton's version either, or Bale's. It was just someone you don't need to see in that battle suit who can walk into your building, cocky as fuck, tell you what's what, and then walk right out, right? That's how Bruce Wayne's supposed to be like.
And buy the building underneath you if he felt like it.
Exactly. And that's the Bruce Wayne we're getting. Yeah. So I like him for that. He's
How'd you get the farm back from the bank? I bought the
money.
The other thing I really like is Alfred's still alive.
Alfred is still alive.
Dick looks like he's in his like probably early 30s. Batman's heckin' old.
Yeah, he's got to be reaching
Alfred
50s right now.
Said that Dick was coming to the mansion. Is a direct line. I'm like, what do you mean Alfred's still alive?
Alfred is immortal, and we're not looking at City of Bane.
This could become thematic. We could go on forever. We could do like best Batgirls. We could end up doing the best Alfreds for all we want.
I'm sure we could. Like we could continue pumping out Bat content until we run out of characters.
Michael Caine is always best Alfred. Fight me for this.
Michael Caine. Caine.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, I absolutely agree. On screen,
Michael Caine is best. Yeah.
Unless Robert Pattinson has a big name pull out of his ass, but doubtful.
Speaking of,
doubtful.
Should we go and touch on that real fast? Just like
on Robert Pattinson?
How are we feeling about it?
Oh,
yeah. So let's end this on the discussion of maybe what we want to see from a Batman that's coming in the future.
I hear she knows pain, but I want to defend this casting choice for just a second because one of the biggest things is that you should never be able to look at a Bruce Wayne and see them as Batman. Because otherwise his secret identity is in constant danger. And I cannot look Robert Pattinson in the eyes and go, yeah, that's Batman. That means he can be Bruce Wayne.
Listen, dude. So like, okay, I had to look up Pattinson's height just to make sure things were okay. Okay. He's 6'1", decent. All right.
That's acceptable.
That's acceptable. This way he's not short stack, man.
Yeah. I had to check on weight class here. Looks like he's kind of hitting the gym a little bit here, trying to get himself a little muscle tone. Okay. My problem is his face.
He sure has a face, huh?
It's not Bruce Wayne, and it's definitely not Batman. Why the fuck are we doing this?
He totally has the look of a potentially drunk pseudo-celebrity who's done nothing to earn that celebrity status. No offense, Robert Pattinson, you've done fine as an actor other than,
if you're listening to
some of those crimes.
If you're listening to this somehow, we like you. I enjoyed Lighthouse, thank you.
But he's got that vibe that
while we're on there.
He could be on the Gotham Gazette after having fallen into a fountain in the middle of a charity function. He could do that. I believe it.
Okay, let me retract a little bit. So he looks like a young Bruce Wayne kind of guy, okay?
That's okay.
That's okay. But I don't get the feel of this movie yet. It just seems
what I'm reading is it's going to take like super heavy inspiration from Batman Year One.
Yeah, okay.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Does that mean we get to see him fall off a roof?
But how many times do we need to do Batman Year One?
Right. And I'm tired of seeing Martha getting gunned down and Thomas getting gunned down, and I'm tired of seeing all that, man. Like, I said the magic word.
Martha?
Shazam.
How'd you say that name?
Like, I don't know. I gotta wait for this product to show me something before I can really like give a clear nope or yep on that. But like so far, casting wise, it just feels a bit iffy. Just the whole thing's just iffy, man. I don't know.
When a trailer comes out, I'm sure we'll do something with it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure we'll talk.
Have opinions at least.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Pattinson, and I just brought up Lighthouse. I've always said missed opportunity to cast Willem Dafoe as Joker was always a missed opportunity.
Yeah. The more I think of that,
The look, the sound, you get a bit of it from when he played Green Goblin.
That's what I was gonna refer to because like would he pull more of the Green Goblin but make it his own Joker?
Yeah, like for me that was always a lost opportunity on everybody. Just how come you're not casting this guy as Joker yet. It doesn't make any sense.
This
guy's like the perfect guy to do it.
It's true.
He's got the build for it. He's got the look alone.
You know what would work though? Like if we were to use Willem Dafoe as Joker, and I'm not gonna go too long on this, but if we used him as Joker, I think the perfect storyline would be the Dark Knight one, like part 1 and 2. Just have him, because like with his age and like visual features, put him in a suit, put on the makeup.
How about I one up you on that one and say scrap it and do something based on the Arkham games with that old man Joker?
I would dig that.
Right?
Those games were great.
Because he looks almost like that one.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, that feel, like Willem Dafoe has that feel for Joker. I think he should have played him. I don't know why no one ever cast him for it. Fun note, he was almost cast as Batman in '89. Could you imagine that?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, him, Mel Gibson, a whole bunch of them, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad Mel Gibson didn't get that. Yeah,
me too.
that would have sullied a whole bunch.
But there's a whole lot of guys before Keaton who would have got that role, man. But Dafoe was on that list, and I always said like he should have got Joker somehow, some way. But hey,
somehow, some way. But hey,
bars. Yeah.
Jeez.
And I think that brings us to the end of our discussion.
What a lovely discussion it was.
A little batty discussion. With that brings us to our end of our episode, I guess. And then you can reach us on our social media with our Twitter at Crusade Nerd, Instagram at Nerd Crusade, and we upload every Wednesday to YouTube. And you can also download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through the Anchor.fm or Spotify app by searching Nerd Crusade.
And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this issue, go ahead and button mash the thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the subscribe button on YouTube or anywhere you can to listen to our podcast. And to be updated to know when a new issue is out, hit the bell to be notified by